Welcome to Comicstorian, where we bring you some of your favorite comic books, video games, and movies, and break them down into digestible bites so that you get that lore with your busy schedule. We present it to you as a narrative, an audio drama, a way for you to enjoy it while still doing other stuff. And today, we're going to be telling you the storyline of The Last Night on Earth, which is a storyline that Scott Snyder has written as the ultimate conclusion to his run of Batman. This story is exceptionally long, being almost 60 pages on its first issue, so we're going to treat this like many of our basically popular series, where we try to get it out in a relatively fast manner, so you're going to get these single 60-page issues on a regular basis. There's really nothing for me to set up, because this is the first episode of Last Night on Earth of Batman, but consider it this way. Consider it if Scott Snyder was to ever write a The End storyline to Batman, this is that story. Enjoy.
Rain pours down from the sky as the Batmobile races through the streets of Gotham City, nearing final destination Alfred. Batman calls over the radio. Alfred acknowledges, letting him know that there is no sign of anyone at the scene. The car moves faster as Batman reviews his file. Every morning for almost a full year, someone has left a chalk line in a 5-foot random line within Gotham. Compiled satellite photos show the reality, though. A chalk outline of a body. Him, Batman, dead. The car screeches to a stop at the center of Batman's heart, Crime Alley. Stepping from the car into the rain-soaked night, Batman stares into the place where it all began. "I'm not alone," he tells Alfred. Crouched beneath a lamplight, a young boy sits under an umbrella. Batman steps forward, stopping in front of the small figure. "Hello, son. Are you hurt?" he asks. The boy doesn't respond, though. Speaking softly, Batman reaches down to lift the umbrella, allowing him to see the boy's face. Shock crosses Batman's face as he stares down at the boy's sightless eyes and slack mouth. But he doesn't move, ignoring Alfred's suggestions to leave the scene. "Signal Jim. Victim appears to be 10, maybe 11. Badly decomposed." He begins to rattle off notes that the boy seems to have been posed like this. Alfred tries to warn the Dark Knight as the boy's arms begin to move, and a whirl of gears can be heard over the rain. The gun comes up and it fires. Then there's nothing but darkness. Bruce's eyes snap open, staring up at the bright lights above him. Someone is calling his name and he tries to speak, but the words come out in a labored breath. His limbs are tied fast, his head immobile. He calls for Alfred, asking if anyone is there. Suddenly a face is peering over him, a face with a big smile. "Bruce Wayne, my lord, you're right here and it's finally over." He smiles. Bruce stares at the man who looks so much like his worst enemy, and he struggles to speak. "Take it easy, Bruce. Your speech, your motor functions, they'll all come back soon. Just relax," the man in the lab coat tells him, a purple flower in his lapel. "You're tricking me, playing joke." Bruce struggles, his eyes glaring. The man explains that they aren't tricking him. This is the first time in years that he isn't being tricked. They tried dozens of therapeutic options over the years, tried everything to reach him, but finally he is here with them. "We are so happy to meet you." The doctor smiles, introducing himself. "Dr. Redmond Hudd. I've been your doctor for over 20 years. In Arkham Asylum." Bruce tries to struggle against the bond, screaming for them to let him out. Dr. Hudd tries to calm him, telling him that someone wants to meet him as he raises the hospital bed. Shock races through Bruce's body as he stares at Alfred, his faithful butler standing in the door before him. "Bruce, is that really you?" He crosses the room, standing before his young charge. Bruce looks down at the man that has been a father to him. "Alfred, please, take me home." He struggles. The old man smiles. He assures Bruce that they will finally be going home after this long nightmare. "You are forgiven," he assures him, yet Bruce is confused. He doesn't understand. Sadness fills Alfred's voice as he looks at the ground. "I'm sorry, Bruce. I thought you understood," he begins. "You killed your parents that night in Crime Alley." Anger flares inside of Bruce and he screams. This isn't Alfred. He's being tricked. Alfred meets his anger with his own, pulling back the hospital curtain to reveal the workers. He stares at the men and women of Arkham, the people who look familiar, like the villains of his nightmares. But Bruce refuses to listen. He knows one of his rogues must have done this. Alfred turns away, disappointment and sadness in his voice. Dr. Hudd reassures him that it will take some time. Bruce calls out to Alfred not to leave him as Hudd gives him a sedative and he slips back into the darkness. He awakens again in a padded cell, his mind snapping back quickly, and he begins to move around the room, trying to find the mistake, the weak point that will allow his escape. He finds it, a torn seam, a rip in the fabric. He begins to work, opening it further. From within, he pulls out a penny and a small dinosaur. "No!" he screams in anger. "I don't believe you! I'll never believe you!" He screams as he begins to thrash and tear apart the walls. Later, Bruce sits in front of Alfred in the visitor's room, his eyes calm, almost empty. "It's been days, sir. How long before you accept it?" he asks. Bruce just looks at him. "Why do I know Greek and Mandarin?" he asks simply, and Alfred sighs. "He was taught by the asylum librarian, Elliot." "Why do I know how to fight?" Alfred rubs his nose out of aspiration. "He was taught by Dr. Algo before he almost drowned him in the whirlpool, thinking that it was some kind of magical well," he sighs. Alfred finally looks back at the young man that he loves like a son. He'll do anything for as long as it takes. But he wants him to know that he brought him something in hopes that it would help. Bruce leans forward. "It's your cowl," Alfred tells him. And he reaches underneath the table, pulling out a long, straight jacket with a cowl of Batman sewn into the head. "Here is Batman," Alfred tells him. Bruce stares down at the piece of headgear as Alfred explains that this is the jacket that he wore for a long time, that the cowl is a part of a simple shock therapy restraint. Bruce's words come out in a stammer. He just doesn't know. He looks down at the jacket before him, and Alfred leans forward, taking his son's hand into his own. He needs Bruce to understand. He needs him to see so that they can go home together. Finally, Bruce looks up, determination in his eyes. "I'm gonna need that suit back right now." He moves fast. He made it to the 3rd floor in 5 minutes, orderlies and guards falling beneath his fist. In 7 minutes, he is on the 9th floor. They hesitate as they see the man in a straitjacket with a bat cowl on his head, and they fall. He moves through them quickly, the jacket's belt fluttering behind him like a cape. He takes a baton to the guards on floor 9 and a belt from Sergeant Bullock on 10th floor. Captain Gordon on the 11th floor tries to talk to him. "Remember me, son? The talk's on the rooftops," he asks. But Bruce isn't listening. He takes his boots. At this point, he's made it to the 12th floor, and with nowhere else to go, Alfred calls to him to stop. He whirls around, lightning flashing in the windows. "I figured out your secret, Alfred. Why did you do it?" The guards stand behind Alfred, the weapons aimed, and finally Alfred tells them to leave, to give him and Bruce time alone. Lightning flashes again, and Bruce calms, lowering his weapons as Alfred steps through to the bell tower. "Why?" Sadness fills Alfred's voice as he steps forward, finally giving him the truth. Beyond the window is nothing. Bruce turns, staring out into the stormy night. He doesn't understand. No Gotham, no friends, no world. It is all gone. Bruce continues to stare before finally realizing the truth. "I failed. What happened?" But Alfred doesn't answer. He needs Bruce to understand. He is finally free. That is why Alfred made all of this. No mission left to accept except that to live. To be who you never got to be, he says with tears in his eyes. Bruce turns to the man that he has known as his father for almost his entire life. "Let me see." The hologram shimmers before it drops, revealing the face of an elderly man, sadness in his eyes. "I'm so sorry." "It's good to see you, old friend." Alfred looks away, wiping a tear from his eye. "It was my heartbeat, wasn't it?" he asks. Bruce nods. You can tell that Alfred was older than he appeared when they took each other's hands. He tries to explain. He built all of this for Bruce. Parts of Gotham, a manor, all for him. Bruce puts on the mask, asking his friend to come with him, but Alfred can't. He is too old, and not after everything that has happened. "Take something with you, though. Take the blasted penny," he sighs. And finally, Bruce asks, "Why am I not old? Why do I feel young and strong?" Alfred knows that the answer will upset him. He'll leave soon after, so he asks for one last favor. "Let me hold you one last time. Let me hold the boy that I love." The two hug, as father and son. And as the sun burns on the dry dirt of the earth, suddenly the ground begins to crumble and a hand rips free, stretching upward into the light. Batman gasps as he pulls himself free of the earth, and he turns. The world around him is a barren wasteland. A pole sits up from the sand, a lantern dangling from it, swaying in the wind. He moves forward, staring at it briefly before blowing off the dust. It is there that he discovers the head of the Joker laying in a lantern, his eyes closed, his lips still pulled into a hideous smile. "Who's there?" the clown screams as his eyes open up. Batman pulls back, his fist coming into a defensive position. "Wait! The knock-knock comes first, doesn't it?" Batman doesn't understand. How is he? Alive? No idea. How are you alive? I don't care, because you came back to me. Oh, Bats, I'd hug you right now. I mean, if I wasn't a head in a jar. Right, wait. I'm gonna say manly. Batman stares at his former enemy, asking who did this to him, but Joker just laughs. He can't even remember. Strange lightning suddenly crashes around them and Batman turns to see the strange stormy skies. But I know some things, the Joker cries. Just take me with you and I'll tell you everything. Batman reaches out, unhooking the lantern as Joker explains to him about the Speed Force storms, that they need to watch out for them, and the two begin their trek through the sands. Just like old times! Batman and a noggin! Am I right, Bats? 2 days pass as Batman and Joker cross the barren world to reach Coast City. Batman stands in the crater of one of the final battles of this fallen world. In the distance, the corpse of Mogo the Living Planet hangs in the sky. The two stand there as Joker tries to remember the events that took place. His mind is shattered and he remembers very little. Merely that Brainiac leeched Mogo to death, and lantern rings were raining from the sky. Batman suddenly turns as an emerald light begins to shine on them, yet this is not a hero, and massive Green Lantern babies come stomping through the shattered ruins around them. Do I hear babies? I love babies! The Joker laughs as Batman grabs his jar, leaping away. The babies try to smash the hero as he leaps through the air. The wielders of the rings are dragged behind the constructs, their willpower too weak to control anything. He cartwheels around another construct, striking its wielder in the face with the Joker's jar. Hey! Watch the glass! I'm just trying to help! The babies converge on Batman with the Joker asking, What's the master plan? I'm waiting for it to unleash! Quiet! I'm thinking, Batman hisses. He turns one of the baby constructs, raising its massive infant fist above them. Suddenly, the babies then begin to fall as rounds pierce their chests. Batman turns as a voice calls out to him from an armored personnel carrier. He steps forward and Vixen appears from one of the hatches, pulling him in. Get in before more slingers show up, she orders him. The vehicle rumbles forward and Batman looks up to see Poison Ivy is driving. You've got a lot of nerve dressing like that, Vixen says, looking him up and down. Who are you? Go on, say it. Say I'm Batman, you know you want to. Joker whispers from the jar, and Batman tells him, shut up. Vixen peers closely at the hero, her eyes widening as she realizes that he might be the real Batman. Ivy glances back before raising an arm and sending a vine to knock him unconscious. When he awakens, it's to the sounds of voices echoing throughout a strange cavern. Purple amethyst crystals make up the walls around him as he comes to, his mask gone. Crystals forming around his hands, Bruce begins to struggle. The more you struggle, the faster it grows. A voice calls out to him, suddenly pointing a sharp blade into his face. Now tell me who you really are. Vixen orders, her spear at his throat. A voice orders her to stop, and from the shadows strides a warrior woman. Batman stares up into the helmet of Dr. Fate, but it is Diana who pulls the helmet free, explaining that magic is long dead and there is no more Dr. Fate. Just like there's no Batman or Wonder Woman, she tells him, striking him free of his bonds and finally giving him some of the answers that he has longed for. She leads him through the crystal cavern, showing him the stables and the survivors. When he asks what happened, she merely informs him, we lost. Finally, they end at the shattered arc of the remains of the Hall of Justice. How did the villains win? Bruce demands. But Diana explains that the villains didn't win. Lex Luthor broadcast around the world and explained that the world was doomed and that everyone should just stop being good. People chose doom, she explained. And one by one, the heroes were picked off by the people that they had sworn to protect. The people tore apart Batman, Arthur, and Dinah. Then a new power rose in Gotham. Omega. The remaining heroes tried to fight back, a final war. But we lost, she tells him. Now they are going deeper underground to protect the survivors. You're not Batman. You're a ghost and Echo. But Bruce already knew this, already knew it since Alfred told him. He is actually a clone that has been imbued with the memories of Bruce Wayne, Batman. Diana might have given up hope, but Bruce hasn't. Alfred said that there are rumors about Clark, he asks, turning once more to his old friend, and Diana nods. Yes, alive in the Plains of Solitude. I know these rumors well, she tells him. But she saw Clark fall with her own eyes. She scoured the plains already. Lies to draw us out. She tells him more rumors. That of Omega. That he is someone born and bred in Gotham. Possibly a villain, more than likely one of your disciples. she tells him with heavy words. She finally turns, though, offering him the bat suit that she saved from the original Batman, and she tells him her plan: to take the survivors to Hades where they'll be safe. Diana, we have to fight. We have to take the world back, he tells her. But Diana knows the truth. She bids Bruce to rest for the night before turning to leave, and she leaves him with some parting words. It's good to have you back. In the morning, she returns to where she left Bruce, only to find the box with his costume in it empty. Sadness fills her eyes in the dim light of the caverns. Goodbye, Bruce, she whispers. And back on the surface, Batman stalks through the barren wasteland of the world, prepared to save a planet that doesn't want saving. And underneath his arm, the Joker smiles from within his jar.
Okay, so now that you've watched the video, this story is incredible. It's like super incredible. I love it. We're gonna try to bring it to you every other week. We're trying to tie it into how long it's gonna be. It may skip a week or two. It's not like The Batman Who Laughs. They're coming out a little sporadic because they are 60 pages long. So make sure you subscribe to the channel to get the next chapter of The Last Night on Earth with our unique style of telling it to you. And make sure you go check us out on Twitter because we're trying to grow up our Twitter brand and would love to hear your opinions on The Last Night on Earth, our presentation of it, and the book itself. Scott Sentner also checks his Twitter, so if you go there, you can find his Twitter, my Twitter. I'm at Comicstorian. We'd really appreciate you going over there, hanging out with us. Either way, I hope you guys enjoyed The Last Night on Earth, and make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell so you actually know when we put out videos, because YouTube doesn't feel like telling you. You sub, it does nothing because YouTube doesn't want to tell you the video came out. And I'll see you next time right here.